Political struggle is one of the important key in the human security and part of the stabilization in any states. And political struggle between the elites will always affecting the people and the states. In this documentary, we will see how this political struggle issue will affecting more people about the human security. In the recent 5 years, Malaysia had witnessed a changing in the political leadership. Within 5 years, we have changed 3 times of the Prime Minister, which indicates how the political struggle happened in Malaysia, how it become more worsened. So, in today, we would like to talk more deeper on how this political struggle will affect the states, the people, the economy, and the environmental. So, for so now, what we like to see is, or what we like to know is what is the factors leading this political struggle among the political elites in Malaysia. So we would like to know by interviewing our research analysis as our guest today with Mr. Anis. If we want to know the factors that lead to the political struggle, we first have to know the political history or the structure of our domestic politics. The main things here is the struggle is a core power, and they need it to form a legitimate government. In the context of practice in parliamentary democracy, we do have general elections. It is normal to have political struggle. Just in recent post-general election voting, it is a bit different. First, the change of government where it changed the structure of our traditional politics. Secondly, due to that, it led to change few landscape such as the Charter Move and the current government after the resignation of Tan Sri Lanka. It is the first in our history that the Prime Minister is not the President of the party itself, where previously the President of the party itself will be the Prime Minister of the government. Now, if we carefully analyze, we can see our political struggle is more dynamic than before. But why? Firstly, the conflict of interest exists in the party which is UMNO. Commonly, they will put the president of the party as the candidate of the Prime Minister. Now, there is two blocks. Exists where one block wanted the election of the candidate to be the Prime Minister need to carry out first, and the other block wanted the traditional way and creating a dilemma within the party. And this caused the structural political culture where the conventional ways not be practiced anymore. Secondly, where there is a collision between this block, in the context of Malay political structure, elites are contributing huge influence in constructing and designing the Malay life. Elites hold a huge power in the constructing the political culture. So the collision happen when there is the clash between the elites itself. As our political struggle becoming more dynamic, it will also creating the more complexity inside the landscape of our political itself. So, how far this complexity will affecting the trust deficit between the international system itself, how it react with our states, and how the people of Malaysia itself trusting on their leadership. If we can see the effects of political struggle towards the institutional trust, there is a research being done by some institute regarding the trust of the people towards the government. One of the report is about the barometer trust done by international institution on lots of states including Malaysia. In that report, there is a proof that the trend of the trust from the people towards the government is declining in 2018, 2019, 2020. However, it is not indicate the result towards the minister or just government. It shows about the trust towards the member of the parliament or the political party in general. The trust deficit clearly pictured on the results, and the people have thought the political struggle causes the politician have ignoring them. But we need to understand the government policy itself not be moved by the politician, but by the government servant itself, without being affected by the political struggle no matter what, as the work is autonomously. That is how the sentiment of the people, which is different from the government practice, being played where the people are not clear, and it leads to trust deficit towards the government. In the other hand, on international level, the trust deficit will be much clearer without sentiment. On this case, we could see on two subjects. First, between the states, and second, between the actor, which is leader of the states. In the context between the states, the political struggle itself would not affecting, as the norm of international system have left the sovereignty itself as highest position, where there is no intervention towards any domestic affair occurs. So any kind of diplomacy will not affected, but it may be have a ripple effect toward the trust deficit from foreign investors. Mostly, those groups will make a wait-and-see policy caused by the imbalanced political institution of a country. If we look between the actors which through the leaders of the state, there would be yes, it will affect especially on liberal bloc or center left, which is social democrat. These social democrats have wide connections through the globe. They are not just strong in Europe, but they do catching up to Asia. Huge fund will be transferred to the social democrat to make their own move if the landscape of political not sided them. Same applied to conservative side, where their connections, like in Japan or the Saudi, will always be good relation. As it shows, there are more a clash between two ideology, between the conservative and liberal.
True. With the trust deficit, it's getting more and more worse. And with our recent situation, as our economy, health, and environment security is being robbed by this politician. How far this political struggle will take this three kind of security to the bottom of the block itself?
In general, there is no solid evidence through research yet to relate political struggle and security. Yes, by quantitative research, no evidence yet, but there is indirect relationship between political struggle and security matter, which there is a factor as intermediary.
Why I say there is no direct relationship? Because in the context of our country, as I said before, all government policy being carried by the government servant where they work autonomously even without the existence of legislative or executive, because they lead by the chief secretary of government when there is no official government. The security are still secure, but it come in different way to track the security. Like for example, in health, the struggle between these elites may affect the Minister of Health to make an action, such as to implement the vaccination to the kids from 5 to 10 years old. With the political struggle within elites does not help to create a strong political will to compulsory the vaccine for the kids. For economic security, the inconsistency of the policy is the main factor to the foreign investor, multinational company to make a move, or they will only take the path wait and see, and it affecting the economy, the FDI, cash flow, and our economic growth, which is it will slow down. In terms of political government, Malaysia is a big government where we have gained our maturity in institution from our long history and our institution politics, not to depending to party politics or majority government in parliament and executive. In fact, we have an important institution which is constitution monarchy. Military is under constitution monarchy, where military is important parts where they protecting the state sovereignty and they only loyal to the monarchy, not to the politician. And there's still political stability because the royal military are the one protecting the security of the states within domestic.
In this, what we can conclude is it depends on how the leadership of the politics itself, how will they manage to facing the struggle and situation of the states, and how will they intelligently and skillfully to alter the problems. But somehow our Malaysian political struggles is a bit different. It's just about the clash of the elites, ideology and interest itself. And the most worst is it costs the state and it costs the people who are suffering from their interest itself. So to the people of Malaysia itself, I do love some quote from my lecturer. What she said is the people itself need to be critical to choose the person, to the right person into the position. And we need to be more and more critical to know what is the ideology of the people that we choose in the position, what is their aims, what is their fighting for. And to those political or the member of parliament who are always struggle and dirty their hands to get the position itself in the ministry, you have and you must fulfill your responsibility to the states and to the people, because if not, you just ruining the state itself, and we might be not shocked or maybe possible itself Malaysia will be the African of Southeast Asia in the next 10 years. We doesn't know. 10 years are still no. So I end my conclusion by saying we need to change our political landscape itself by understanding the ideology and by fighting for what is the best for the nation.